Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with another quick candle making idea. Stay with me. I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, for this candle idea, we are going to need a container. Okay, now this happens to be a soup container from Safeway. And the reason I like this so much, where's my pointer? The reason I like this so much is two reasons. It's recessed down on the top, and inside, I don't know if you can see, but it's got a little button right there on the inside. And I'll explain why this is important here pretty soon. So what do I do with this container? I heat up wax, and I pour the wax into this container, and I use this as a mold to create this. Okay, again, you see that it's got that recess on the top, this area, and remember that little dimple that I was showing you from the center? That's important, and I'll show you why here in a second. So I'm gonna need that. While I'm heating up the wax, before I pour it into this, I'm gonna take my cotton string and I'm gonna dip my cotton string into the wax, into the hot wax. I need to coat the tip here of this string. And I need this string to be just a little bit taller or just a little longer in length than the candle that I'm trying to make. Okay, and it's got to be 100% cotton. You don't want to use nylon, you don't want to use polyester, things like that. I might need a set of scissors, a pair of scissors. And last but not least, something to set the candle on. I'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute too. I'm also going to need a drill with the drill bit, and the drill bit needs to be slightly larger in diameter than the diameter of the string. And it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this block, and remember that little dimple in the center? I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to drill straight through, just like this. All this excess wax that you see falling, make sure you catch that and try to make this hole as centered as you can. So we're catching all this excess wax. See that in my hand? Let's just set that on our plate back there for now. So let's go ahead and finish our drill. We're going to go all the way through this block. See that? Now let's spin it and see how true we are. We got pretty close to the center. I'm going to pull my drill bit out. And any excess pieces, again, I'm just going to set them aside for now. I might need some of that. From here, I'm going to make sure that my hole is clear. Make sure everything's out of the way. Everything's clear. You can see daylight through there. See that? Now from here, one thing I want to mention is as the wax cools in this mold, it kind of makes like a recess on the bottom, and that's kind of cool. But what I want to do is I want to take this wick, and with the side that had the wax coating, I want that side to be on the top. So I'm going to just kind of push my wick through the hole, ending up with the wax coated portion as being the top of my wick. Sometimes you might need to get a paper clip to help push this through, things like that. I'm going to try to use my pointer here. Okay, so I'm just kind of pushing this through. There, you can start to see it down there. Be patient, don't get in a big hurry. If you damage this center hole a little bit right now, that's okay. It's not that big of a deal. I'll explain that too in a minute. So there's my wick poking through. See that? So I'm just going to pull this down until I have the wick just barely poking out of the top. Now I'm going to fold this over and lay that down. From here, I'm going to take one of my matches and I'm going to light this wick. So let's get this match good and going. And we're going to go ahead and light this wick. It's important that you do this. You're probably wondering, well, why are you lighting it, dude? The candle's not even ready yet. There's a reason. I'll explain shortly. Looks like it's fighting with me a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that's enough to take off for us. The reason I need to light this is because I want to take the back part of that match, or if I threw it away, but I'm going to get some of this wax and I'm going to push it down towards the center, because what's going to happen is that hole, the void that was between the hole and the wick, I'm wanting that liquid wax to go down into that hole so that it fills all those gaps. So that's what all this wax that I saved was for. All this wax, that's what it's for. So I just take those little pieces and I stick them on there. Then I just kind of push them to the center, because I'm giving it liquid to go down inside that hole. And that's more of an issue if you have like a real thick drill bit and you're drilling like a big old hole in reference to your wick. If the drill bit hole is somewhat the same size as your wick, you won't have to do as much of this. So we're just kind of pushing that stuff through. Nothing fancy. And we're letting that candle burn a little bit. If you notice that the wick is starting to go out or something, just push the wick up a little bit from the bottom. You might be able to and you might not be able to. Depends on if you've got plenty of material in there or not. I'm going to use my scissors to kind of grab it a little bit and pull it up just a little bit. I want my wick to be a little bit longer. So once that's had a little bit of time to burn, and once you can bang it a little bit, and again, we're trying to get the liquid down into the hole. Once you feel that you have plenty of wax down in the hole, blow the candle out and let it cool. Let this center liquid solidify again. We'll talk to you when that's ready for us. While we're waiting on this to cool, I want to make sure that you understand why we dipped the edge of this wick in the wax, and that was to impregnate the wick with fuel so that we could light it. Because if we just tried to light just a piece of cotton string, what would happen would be the cotton string would just burn, and then we wouldn't have any kind of wicking type action going on. And that's why we dipped it in the wax previous to making this ingot or this mold. So we're almost solid in the center. I'll be back in a sec. Okay folks, we're back. You can see that the center is somewhat solid. It's still soft. It's only been a couple of minutes, but it's fairly solid. So it's solid enough where I can flip it over without pouring any liquid wax. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm just going to slowly, very gently cut this wick down at the bottom here. Don't want to pull upward on it because you might pull the wick through or something. I'm just going to kind of fold that out of the way. And remember our plate from earlier? That's what we're going to set our candle on. You need some sort of barrier to set your candle on, because if you're going to let this thing burn for a long period of time, you're going to need that for when it burns out. Let's go ahead and light it up again. And that, my friends, is our candle. Let me talk about this recess. Okay, one of the reasons I like that recess so much is because if you look at this candle, you can see that as it burns, it kind of burns down into this recess. It creates a pool of liquid, and it's about the diameter of this hole once it gets heated up, and it works really good. Here's an example of another one that's burned way down. You can see that down towards the bottom the wick got a little bit off-centered, but nonetheless it's still, that's what you're kind of going to be dealing with. But they still work good. You can also see this little dimple where the caved effect kind of stopped. And on this one, you notice I burned it from the bottom too. And what I did is I cut the wick off and I lit it up and I burned some wax to kind of seal it from the bottom. And I did that because I wanted to try to prevent this thing from slipping around like this one did. I tried to burn that one from the bottom here, but I did it too late. This wick was just cut straight. It didn't really make a difference. But this candle still works good, and it still contains the flame inside. And the reason for the plate, again, is if you were to burn these for a long period of time and it burns out, this plate's going to catch any wax or anything like that. And it's kind of the same concept or idea that I used when I made this candle. That's what this little soda can was for, was to catch any excess wax if this thing was to burn out. Another thing that I want to mention is on this particular type of wick, once it sits for a while, you can break it off with your fingers. And it's like kind of hard to the touch. And that's kind of a cool feature because when you blow it out and it solidifies, you can just kind of break that wick off. And it breaks to the right length. It's not like you're going to break it too short. It breaks to the right length. Pretty cool. If you haven't seen this video, I'll post a link to it here in the description box or up below here. So take a look. Or you can search my channel for it. So anyway, everybody, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you got some good, useful information out of this video. Please feel free, as always, to like this video, share this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you like the content on my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And until next time, have a beautiful day. Now get out there and make you a candle. Bye-bye.